Morning, everyone. Someone recently requested that I make a video explaining The Great Gatsby, and so I'm gonna just do that for you quickly here. Um, I'm not gonna run through every single thing I have in terms of these notes which I put together for you. This is just a very quick explanation for you, and the notes which I created, I just used ChatGPT to basically get everything that you need. If you want more in-depth notes, you can go ahead and use ChatGPT yourself to question things more. I'll link this document in the description for you. Okay, to begin, very simply, The Great Gatsby essentially follows the character of Gatsby, and his main issue, okay, that you need to understand if you want to understand the text, is that Gatsby essentially is a character who is extremely insecure and extremely in need of external validation. To make it more simple for you, Gatsby is a character that doesn't feel comfortable with himself. Okay. And so nobody sees the real Gatsby except perhaps for Nick in certain moments of him being weak. And then at the end when we see him kind of unravel and how he has a bad ending, dying alone, basically. So Gatsby is a character who he is always putting on an act. He's always pretending. He's always trying to feel comfortable by the use of wealth, by the use of like parties and the use of materialism. He is someone that's trying to. He's basically like a fake Instagram influencer. That's how you can think about Gatsby. Okay, if you think about people who are like Instagram influencers, like the people that post pictures next to fancy cars or fancy houses or holding bags of money in their hands. They do this because, especially, I mean, if they don't actually have the money and things, even if they have the money, the majority of the time they do this because they are trying to create a reality which they don't feel inside of themselves. Okay? So the issue with Gatsby, okay, even in why he loves Daisy so much and why he wants her so much, the issue with Gatsby is he does not feel inside as if he is enough, as if he is complete, as if he is worthy, you could say. Which is why when we first meet him, he puts on this fake, old-timey kind of accent. And he creates this whole story. I believe he even changes his name. He changes his name from what his original name is. And it's been a little while since I've read the text, so there's certain details which I don't remember exactly. But in any case, he changes his name. He creates and constructs an entire character because he doesn't feel comfortable with who he is inside. Now, what this does is it means in the story, okay, and I have the entire plot summary for you here, so I don't need to go over it, okay. But essentially, what this means is in the story, he is continually chasing. We believe he is at first he's chasing Daisy. That's what we think, right? We think that he's spending his entire time in the story chasing Daisy so that he can, because he loves her and he wants to marry her. Okay. But the reality is he is not chasing Daisy, but he's chasing what Daisy represents. Okay. And what Daisy represents is, in his mind, the idea of success, which is like old money, which is like long-term wealth, opulence without, fear of the money going away. It's like materialism at, at its maximum. And ultimately, what he's chasing is the feeling of feeling successful. That's what he's chasing. Okay. But the problem with Gatsby is he can never get to that feeling because inside of himself, he doesn't feel, he feels like he is not successful. He feels like a failure. He feels like he is not enough inside. And so no matter how much money he makes, no matter how much, even if he gets Daisy, okay, even if he all these women that are at his party, they all want to be with him and all that. Even if he was to be with 1,000 women, still he would not feel enough because it's something which is inside of himself, which is the problem. Now, this takes us to the central theme in the text. The central theme is often laid out as being the American dream and the failure of the American dream, something like this. But this is only half true. Okay, it's only half true. The reality is that the key theme in the text is not necessarily the American dream in terms of the classic understanding of it, which is like people moving to America, excuse me, people immigrating to America from, you know, more difficult sort of starts in life. They might be not very well off. They move to America, they work hard, and they achieve a level of comfort and, you know, material success. That's the original American dream. Okay, this is not what the text is focused on. Okay, this is not what Gatsby wants. Okay, what he wants is the perversion of the American dream, or the it's not the thing itself, but it's the image of the thing. Okay, in other words, he doesn't just want to be able to feed his family and send his kids to school and, you know, pay his bills and not be in poverty. That's the American dream. Okay, originally, by the way, the original American dream is come from Italy, come from, you know, Europe, come from uh, different places in the world, Japan or wherever, go to America because of the conditions in the market and the setup of the country. You can create your business, or you can work really hard, and you can elevate yourself from being hungry and, you know, in poverty, to being able to, you know, pay your bills, have a decent house, a nice house, send your kids to school, and they can have a better life than you. That's the original American dream. Okay, Gatsby doesn't want that. What he wants, okay, and what he desires is what is impossible, which is the image of the American dream, which is like endless. It's like success without an end, like materialism without an end. Okay, he's chasing an illusion, okay, a shadow. He's chasing something which he cannot attain. Maybe the way that you can think about it is not necessarily in terms of what he's chasing, but in terms of what is it that causes him to act this way. What is it that causes him to act this way? It is his discontent. Okay? It is his discontent. In other words, the core flaw that Gatsby has, which drives the entire story, which drives everything about him, is his discontent, his lack of contentment, his lack of saying, okay, I have enough. I'm grateful. That's his main problem. And this is the main problem of everyone in the story who is unhappy and chasing more. Everyone who is chasing material and is celebrating the material and engaging in the wild parties, Tom, he cheats on his wife, right? Again, I forget the exact details. I think Tom cheats on Daisy, if I'm not. I'm pretty sure he cheats on Daisy, yeah. But anyway, everyone that's engaging in these behaviors, which is like going beyond, going and and destroying their own happiness by doing things that are extra. I want more. I want more. I want more. It's this key feature of lack of contentment. Okay, that's what destroys him. And because he is not content, okay, with himself to begin with, he doesn't feel like he has enough insight. Excuse me. He then decides that because he doesn't feel okay with himself and he wants to lie about who he is, okay, because he's not comfortable with being himself. He doesn't feel good enough. He feels insecure, not validated. He feels like he's not enough, basically. He then constructs this image of Jay Gatsby, this image, an illusion, okay, which isn't real. And he dedicates himself to pursuing the impossible, okay, which is to have endless amounts of wealth and material to try and fill the black hole in his soul, which is the discontent. But the problem with not being content is you can never fill it. That's the issue. Okay, and this is how you see, uh, this is how you see, for example, even though Gatsby becomes rich, Okay, he gets money and he gets money in we believe an illegal way, right? He gets money in a shady way. Okay. Even though he does become rich, still he is not considered to be the same as the people who are inheritors of their wealth, the old money people. Okay, and this ties into what I just said a minute ago because the people who are the old money inheritors, they don't see what they have as being enough. They want more. Excuse me. So, and Gatsby himself doesn't see what he has as enough. And so they judge Gatsby as being below them, even though he has money too. You see, this is the great fundamental problem, okay, with this kind of thinking, with lack of contentment. It creates these problems which are like self-inflicted. Okay, Gatsby has money, they have money, but because they have more, they see him as not being the same level as them. And they see themselves as not being fulfilled because there's other people who have more than them. You see, this is the key sickness which is in the story throughout the whole text. And it's this sickness of feeling like you don't have enough, feeling ungrateful, feeling envious, and so on, which causes them to act in this what we say like morally kind of unethical, bankrupt type of way. Okay, now very quickly, I'm just gonna excuse me. I'm just gonna talk about Daisy and Gatsby and Daisy, and maybe I'll touch on Nick. Though I'll be honest, I don't really remember too much about Nick. Okay, so now when it comes to the love between Gatsby and Daisy, again, you could say on one level he does love Daisy because they had some romance when they were younger, something like that. So he has some genuine feelings for her. But I would say his love for her is corrupted and it has been largely replaced not with love, like true love, actual love for her herself, regardless of her situation and circumstances. It's become replaced with an illusion which he creates for her, an image which he creates, a projection which he puts onto her. So he doesn't love her, he loves his imagination, his image of her. Okay, he loves his conception of her. He loves his fantasy of her. That's what he loves. And again, because Gatsby has at his core this flaw, this sickness, this disease of being not content, of materialism, of lack of feeling enough, and like he has enough, lack of gratitude. This sickness and disease filters into his fantasy, okay, and it makes it so he now sees her as a way of elevating himself materially. So not spiritually or not ethically, not like she can help me to be a better person, she can help me to become more fulfilled in life, but more like she can get me to the success that I want to get to. Okay, it's like a very twisted, sick kind of way of looking at people. It's seeing people like as a means to an end as opposed to an end in themselves. Okay, it's seeing people like not a human, but like a way of elevating yourself materially. Okay, it's not good. Excuse me. Okay, here. And this is the quote, okay, that you can use, which talks about that. So when he describes her, he says that her voice is full of money. Okay, which tells you that he doesn't see her like on one level he sees her as a human being who he loves, perhaps. But his sickness and his disease of wanting more, of lack of contentment, of lack of gratitude, lack of feeling fulfilled, of feeling enough, of thinking he has enough. This has filtered into his conception of her, and now he sees her as like a come up, as a way to elevate his material situation. And remember, the other thing which I said is because he feels not validated, as a way to feel finally accepted by the people who have made it. Okay, in his eyes, because she is from old money, and so if he gets with her, he will feel like, okay, now I've made it. But of course, the only problem is even Daisy and the people around her, Tom and these people, even they don't feel like they've made it. And so if Gatsby was to get with her, what would happen is he would then feel like there's other people who have more than him still. You see, so he would be continually unfulfilled. And so the novel, the story really, the novel, the book, the story really focuses in on this idea, drills in on this idea of uh, the corruption of the American dream, or like the idea of discontentment, the idea of materialism, something like this, okay, which is basically like chasing something which you, chasing what is not, chasing some phantom, some ghost which you can't catch. Okay, it's chasing, it's drinking seawater trying to, and you're trying to fulfill your thirst with it. Something like that. Okay. Um and so the character of Gatsby, he basically, he's not alone in this. Like it, the text itself is a critique of how people were thinking at the time. He just kind of captures it. Okay, like he embodies this, all these ideas that I've been talking about. Okay. Um okay, good. So there's like the story and there's like the central theme and Gatsby. Now, of course, there are some other characters in the story like Daisy herself, Nick and Tom. Um with Daisy herself, um as far as I can remember about Daisy herself, she doesn't love Gatsby the same way that he loves her. Okay, but in fact, I'm gonna stop myself because I don't actually remember that much. Okay, about her and about Nick and these other. But you can read this document, okay, and it will give you those notes for yourself. Anyway, if you understand what I've said about Gatsby and about the central theme, about materialism, about discontentment, and all that, then you'll understand the text, okay, which is the main thing that you can write an essay on. And the lesson from this, okay, from Gatsby is that the materialist trap is what we ought to avoid, because the materialist trap is the thing which is will leave you in constant unhappiness. So Gatsby is a person who has, and it's also the thing that will push you to do things which are not good for you, and which are bad for everyone else also, but you do them so then you can make money. You like Gatsby, he does crime so he can, excuse me, he does crime so that he can make money, and he can achieve some more material possessions. Okay. The key is that the truly happy person, okay, is the one who feels content. And true success is just, in terms of material success, true success, first of all, is being a good person. That's true success, virtue. True success is virtue, being a good person. Are you someone who treats other people well? Do you tell the truth? Are you loving? Are you just? Do you control yourself when you want to hurt someone else or hurt yourself? Do you treat yourself nicely? Are you a good person? This is true success. If you're a good person, you're successful regardless of if you have a lot of money, if you don't have a lot of money, you're successful. Okay, in the greatest and deepest and most complete sense, you are successful. Okay, that's the first thing. Now, if you ask me what is material success, what is it that you should aim for? True material success is just being able to pay your bills. Okay, if you have enough food to eat, if you have somewhere to sleep, if you have shelter, water, the basics, then you are materially successful. And anything beyond this, okay, anything beyond this is extra. And you should be grateful for the material success. You should be grateful for the extra. Okay, and you should be grateful even if you don't have either. Just be grateful to be alive. Okay, be grateful that you've got vision, or you can hear properly, or you've got a body which doesn't have sickness inside of it, or it's not broken in some way. Be grateful. Mm? Be grateful that you're in a society that's not at war. Be grateful that people aren't trying to kill you, etc. Be grateful. This is the first thing. Or this is the second thing. The first thing is about being good. The second thing is about that material success is just having enough to eat and drink and fulfill your basic needs. That's material success. Now, does this mean that you should not strive for more? Should you strive for more, like Gatsby and these people? Should you strive to make millions, say? I'd say yes and no. Yes and no. No, if you want to strive for more to try and feel like you're more or to try and fulfill something inside you, no, then don't. And no, if you want to do it so then you can spend it on material stuff to try and feel like you're more valuable or something. You're already extremely valuable. You have all the value already that you are going to have. You have it all. You're born with it. Okay, you have infinite value. So, no, if you're gonna pursue material, okay, like Gatsby did and these other people do, no. Then the answer is no, you shouldn't. Okay, you should just stick with what you have and be grateful. Now, if you have the sincere desire in your heart that you want to help people who are not so well off, or if you know, have been fortunate enough to be blessed right now with extra, your family is wealthy and you were born into this wealth and you have extra, then the way that you use this money is to help those people who do not have as much as you do, that were not born into as fortunate situation as you. That's your mission. If you want to make more money to do this, to build schools or to, buy school books for kids that are they can't afford it, to build clean water wells for people that are drinking dirty water, to pay for food for people that are they can't afford to eat, to pay for medicine, to build an orphanage, to build a hospital or support a hospital or support an orphanage, to pay for education programs, help children to read. These things, to pay for medicine for people. There's certain people in the world that are blind because they can't afford a £50 or £100 cataract surgery. You know that they're effectively blind because they can't afford a £100 or a £50 surgery, a cataract surgery to remove the cataract from their eye. So if you have money, what's better to buy more jewelry and fancy expensive clothes that you're not going to wear, or to make someone not blind anymore? Huh? So if you're gonna make more money because you want to do this, then yeah, do it. Okay, then make as much money as you can and help the world to heal more. Then you'll be blessed, and God will love you, and we will love you, and everyone will see you as great, and you will also be great. So don't do it because people will see you as great, but do it because it's in your heart and you actually want to help. Okay, then you'll feel satisfied. If you're born rich, that's your purpose in life. Okay, help the people that don't have as much as you. If you don't know what your purpose is, that's your purpose. Okay, help the people that don't have as much as you. Because there's many people that their lives could be completely different if they just had a little bit more material assistance. Okay, so if you have material to spare, if you have money to spare, then help them. Okay, that can be your mission. It's something that you can pursue. Okay, anyway, so there's the Great Gatsby. I'll link this document for you in the description, and I hope everyone is doing good, and good luck with your exams. Okay, God bless.